Praise God, praise God, praise God, and praise God. Welcome to the Beyond the Brokenness 2021 Singles Special Edition. I am your host, Carissa B, and I am excited. I'm really excited. Thank y'all for coming on. Thank y'all for watching. Anybody that watches later, thank y'all so much. I would love for you to share this video. And even if you don't share it, y'all, we need y'all to be praying with us. We're excited. We have some mighty men of God that will be on here to be speaking what God has told them to speak. My goodness, we established Beyond the Brokenness over 10 years ago. It started in a church building. It led to more stuff. It led to more people. And then what happened is COVID came. So we could not, that one year, we could not have our Beyond the Brokenness. During that time, it was called Beyond the Brokenness. Or Behind the Brokenness. See, Carissa B is always messing up. Behind the Brokenness. But in 2021, the Lord spoke to me and told me to change it because we're beyond it now in the name of Jesus. By his stripes, we are healed. And it's a process, and we're going to always forever renew ourselves. We have to stay and dwell in him. So it's beyond the brokenness in the name of Jesus. In the name of Jesus. So we're about to get started. We have some amazing music for y'all. We have a commercial as well, but we're going to get this started. Like I said, I am your host, Carissa B. 2 days. Come back definitely tomorrow, but we're going to, and I'll give you the time later on. Like I said, I'm sorry about the glare in my glasses. Let me take it off from me.
So what's poppin'? You heard from the founder herself, but we are the hosts for today's, singles edition. And I'm your girl Rica Nadine, aka Nana.
It's your boy Big Ben, and I'm your host today too.
And we have an amazing panel of women and men of God on tonight. Yes. On today. It's not even nighttime on today. So without further ado, we're going to bring them in and we're going to partake. We're going to learn. Get your Bible, get your note pens. I said note pens. Get your pens, get your notepads, because you are going to learn something today. You're going to walk away feeling blessed, feeling encouraged, and feeling loved at the end of the day. Oh, so we're going to add our panelists in here. What's poppin', everybody?
Hello.
Hello. Right, so we are gonna first start off with they are a duo, but we're gonna first start with one of the Fisher girls on tonight. So Raquel Fisher is going to start today's event. I'm super excited.
Hello, everyone. I just wanted to tap in a little bit how I overcame Beyond the Brokenness concerning dealing with someone that was unequally yoked. Even though I grew up in church, I grew up in apostolic and very strict foundation. Sometimes you get discouraged because it seemed like a lot of the men in the church, they're not very intentional. And after receiving, dealing with somebody that was saved, heartbreak for somebody that's saved, the enemy come and he'll bring somebody from the world who seems like they're very intentional, but the enemy is always very intentional when he's out to seek your life. And what really woke me up was when if I was dealing with the individual, I kept getting farther and farther away from God. It didn't happen right away. It was gradual steps. Certain things that I normally wouldn't take down, I started to take down. And that's what the enemy does. He don't show you initially his full intention for your life. He'll gradually pull you in until you're in a ditch and it's hard for you to get out, and only God can get you out. And once I realized I was, that far gone, it was like, God, you have to get me out of this situation. God, I don't want to be here no more. God, you have to deliver me. And once God gave me my mind back, he told me to start writing again. And that's how the song came about, Full Attention. And this was my state. I was in church, but I was compromising my walk with God. I was dealing with an individual who was not saved. They believe in God, but not the way that I believe in God. And sometimes we as Christians, we are compromised people if they believe in God, but they don't believe in God the way you believe in God, meaning like the full truth. And you can mess yourself up that way because they can say they believe in God, but they can still be unequally yoked. And the enemy is very cunning. He's very strategic and how he goes out his way and seek your life. So, I just think and praise God for making me more sober now. And it's okay to be single. I'd rather be single than to be out of the will of God. I'd rather be single and have my peace of mind than to compromise and just to have sometimes people just want to have somebody there. And I do believe that once you're comfortable with your walk and your relationship with God, in due season, in due time, God will bless you with someone. But it's very important to build a foundation with God and not to seek things too prematurely just to satisfy your flesh. So that's one of my testimonies. And I write about my personal experience. I'm very transparent in our music. And I believe that the church is lacking that. It's okay to sing worship songs. He's able to heal you. You're the strength of my life. But how do I cope with dealing with somebody unequally yoked? I need you to meet me where I'm at. And that's part of my ministry. And that is my goal, to help people to be more transparent of getting over and getting out of the sin, not just acknowledging the sin and stating that you need help without being delivered. So.
That is good. That's something I do want to touch on, that you mentioned, that sometimes, being in the church, we don't talk about, real issues. We talk about, sanctification. We talked about purification, but we don't talk about, how it is to do ministry, how it is to own a business and be single and still be holy and still live right. So I love that you touched on that. Big Ben, you got anything to say?
I understand being in the church. Sometimes they don't always say, especially for relationship wise, being single. They don't always mention that. They always talk about the married folk, and we just be on the side, and that's why a lot of people. I'm being honest. That's why a lot of people find somebody else outside the church, because them church people inside the church people that are single, they're a hot mess. So yeah. That's all I got for
next we have none other than, we're going all the way to Wales, honey. Like we're going to a different country today. If we're on my show, I'd be like, this is international tea. But we have none other than Mr. Josh Allman. Hopefully I said that right. He can correct me if I didn't. Y'all pray for me. So if we can, I think he's muted.
Yeah, you got it all right there. But yeah, so basically, I just wanted to speak a little bit about my testimony today. Kind of what it was. I was brought up as Christian. I used to go to church every Saturday. As I got a bit older, then my family split up. My nan, who was kind of like the more devout and used to go to church, and she used to be there to be with her. As she passed away and my parents split up, then I've kind of got a bit older now. I'm getting a bit older. I've gone my own way. And I can see from there then, when I was about 14, 15, I think, that's when my problems started coming in. Mental health, depression, which I don't believe so much it's mental health as they say it is. I believe it's more spiritual, and mental health, it does exist, but I don't believe it's what it's labeled as. I believe it's more spiritual battles that we're going through, and that's how they try to hide it. So fast forward a couple of years ago, and then I think I was about 17, 18. I got into drugs, selling drugs. I was taking drugs a lot. I don't know if, I doubt you would have heard it in the US, but there's one of the rivers coming through Wales is the Usk. And if I believe right, I think it's got the second strongest current in the world. So I was going kind of through a hard time then. And I've jumped off this bridge, tried taking my own life. But ever since then, like not luckily, thanks to God, he saved me. He saved me from the river that night. Before I'd gone in there, you never really heard of anyone coming out of there alive. It was, once you were in there, you were kind of gone. And that's all people knew. I remember when I was put in a kind of like a psychiatric place then. And I remember when I come out of there, people were looking at me like they'd seen a ghost, because they thought. But yeah, so I carried on though. I ended up back on the drugs. I ended up going to prison then for supplying. And just carrying on in that cycle, just breaking myself down bit by bit by bit. After I jumped off the bridge, I went through some serious issues, and I know my mum and my cousin, they were kind of praying, asking God for some sort of sign. I can't think. I'm sorry, I can't think of the exact scripture, but I know they've opened the Bible to a random page and put their finger on a part, and the first thing they had was he touched the sweet substance, but God made sure not a hair on his head was harmed. So that automatically they related it back to me. Then, like, I was taking drugs, I was doing this, I jumped off a bridge, and it just that's one of the things that's always blown my mind. I used to see all sorts of stuff like demonic attacks. I felt like someone was trying to take over my body. I used to be filled with anger. And one thing that I remember, like I say, going back to my nan a lot, she used to say to my sisters when they were a bit younger, if ever you're in fear, you feel like there's something around you or something there that means you harm, saying, I think it's in the name of the Lord Jesus, I command you to leave. So I was going through these struggles and kind of battling this. And one day my sister said, Josh, when it's happening, try and stay in. My reaction was I couldn't move my hands, my body, nothing. My mouth, I couldn't move my mouth because there was just I felt like there was something trying to control me and do harm to people around me. But as soon as I said this, when my sister said to say it, I found then that all this anger, everything, all that, wherever that presence was, it left me immediately. And it's kind of from there. Yeah, so sorry about that. Tell only an organised one. Yeah, it's kind of just, there was a lot of demonic attacks around at that time. I remember when things eased off then, like I remember the psychiatrists and doctors was speaking to were saying, no, it's all drug induced. You come in, it's where you're coming off the drugs. But then after a while, even though in my heart I knew it was real and that I knew I've always had my faith in God, rather I haven't always acted on it when I was a bit younger and going through these times. But I started to believe him after a while that it was the drugs that done this to me, and it weren't actual spiritual stuff going on around me. But then I remember my nephew used to see men, used to see faces and stuff like that. And my sisters uploaded a picture of him one day to Facebook and said, Josh, can you see anything on this picture? And there was one demon that always used to appear and show itself to me, and I've seen that kind of in the picture with my nephew. And then I've just, like I said, I always knew it was true and God had protected me from that, and all these things were going on around us. But like I say, so yeah, I've always believed that it's not so much mental health, it's spiritual. It's your spiritual well-being, and that's why when people are trying to beat it, you don't always hear people beating it because they're relying on medication rather than on God to fix these issues. But yeah, so after that, I ended up going to prison. Then I come out of prison, I carried on, and it's kind of, this is where I guess it kind of ties in. It's like I'm not with my child's mother, and probably like she's not really a woman of faith. I spoke to her about stuff in the past, but it was God sending me my daughter, although it was probably done outside of a way, like it was, I don't know where I'm going, but it was him sending my daughter that's managed. It was like the wake up call for me, and I feel that's what's really saved me. It can be hard because when you kind of you believe one thing and your ex-partner don't. So I'm trying to bring up my daughter to love God and have a relationship with Jesus and God, and it can be hard, it can be challenging, but overall that's kind of what got me into the music as well. And with my daughter, it started out I was just making music. I thought I used to do it as a kid, but I didn't really. Nah, it weren't the type of music I'd listen to now. Put it that way. But when my daughter come along, I kind of started making music for her in case anything ever happened to me, something for her to look back on. And then through that, I've met a group of boys who were going to church and stuff like that. So I've kind of got back in with them. Started coming closer to God, and as much as I didn't plan on doing the music, it's gone from doing it for my daughter then to doing it for God, and that's kind of led me to where I am today. But as you can see from my speech, I express myself better through music than speech. But yeah, that's kind of all I've got to say for now. Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming on and sharing your testimony. One thing I do want to mention is I want to thank God for, keeping you safe and, keeping you on this earth, even after the, everything that you've dealt through, everything that people are saying you have, and you rebuked it, you're walking in the faith, and even how you're trying to train up your daughter to move in the faith of God. And I just love it. I love it. My question I do have, I have a quick question. Since you are the only man on here besides Big Ben, you are the only man on here. How is it being a single father and you're rapping and working? How is that?
It's rewarding more than anything. It can be hard, but it's rewarding. And like my daughter, like I say, if it weren't for her, if it weren't for God sending her to me, I probably wouldn't have been where I am now today. So as much as it can be hard at times, it's all worth it, and I'm grateful for everything He's given me. And He's given me that second chance through my daughter.
Amen. Praise God. If you guys do not know, y'all need to go check out this man of God's music. I'm doing a little plug, even though it's too early in the show to be doing it. But this man of God, he's like he said before he got on the line, he's not much of a speaker, but when he's spitting, let me tell you, he is spitting. Like he goes hard. And we love it. So I want to thank you so much for sharing your personal testimony. A lot of times in the church, we talk about a testimony. Oh, Jesus came into my life. He did this, he did that. But we don't tell, this happened and this is why it happened and this is what they said I had and this is what I, we don't really get to the nitty gritty. So I want to thank you for being personal and being open. That's a big thing. Big Ben.
Thanks for being transparent, because not a lot of people will open up and tell your testimony. Because thanks for being transparent. That's all I have for you today.
I have a question. I'm gonna ask the ladies later, but I know you do have to get your daughter. So, do you feel like in this season or seasons to come that you deserve a Proverbs 21 woman? I said Proverbs 21, Proverbs 31 woman.
To be honest, I haven't been looking. I'm kind of focused on my daughter. I'm making music. It'd be not like we'll see what God's got in store. I try not to think on it too much, but we'll see what God's got in store for us.
Amen. Well, we pray nothing but blessings on you. Next, we are going to have Miss B. Sherese, lovely singer, rapper, sensation herself. Miss B. Sherese in the house. So, yeah.
So, I'm like him. I'm not a good speaker. But to share a little bit of what I've gone through is very important. Through being single, I've learned to keep myself. I am 39, so I'm a little older, and I've experienced way too much too soon. Having sex at too young of an age, being manipulated. I'm not going to say I was violated, but I was manipulated. And when you're young and you're not paying attention to what's going on and your head's in the clouds, you can get manipulated. And that's when I was looking for love in all the wrong places. And I didn't have to look for love in all the wrong places. My parents were together for 48 years before my mom passed. So I didn't have to be out there. I was just trying to do what I was big and bad enough to do. And with dealing with that, I've been through some situations that I didn't even have to take myself into. So I had my daughter at 23. And that situation didn't work out with me and her father. It was a bad situation. And I still was looking for love in all the wrong places. I was dating and seeing this person and seeing that person. And when my mom passed, that was like a big thing for me. So that kind of stopped me in my tracks with everything. So God basically told me that if I did not keep myself until it was time to marry someone, that I wasn't going to be here anymore. I was having dreams and stuff, that stuff happened to me and all of that. And the Holy Spirit came back to me and said, do what I say, be obedient. I've been celibate now for a greater part of 10 years. It is not easy. A lot of people don't like to talk about what you deal with after you've done things outside of marriage and you come back to God and asking God to help you with it. And you fight through that battle. And it's not an everyday battle, but you battle through it. You battle through people telling you, oh, well, and these are some men and some men that are in the church that say, well, how do you know before you get married? And what if you get married and you're not happy? And the Holy Spirit basically straight came to me and said, the man that is for you will not lead you into sin. So my message to everyone today, especially to singles, keep yourself. Don't be running out here trying to be with this person and be with that person. Soul ties are real. You can get tied to someone. You don't know who you're sleeping with. You don't know what demon you're sleeping with. You don't know what's on them. You don't know their real truth. People don't tell their real truths. It takes a while for you to find them. It takes a while for you to understand that this person may look good on the outside. The facade that they gave you is wonderful. But that demon that's sitting right inside of them will jump on you, will have your life messed up. Before I started keeping myself, I started to notice that I would have these really bad days just for no reason. And I felt bad and awkward. And I didn't understand it before, that I was dealing with other people's spiritual warfare instead of dealing with just my own. And that's why God says you are as one flesh. When you sleep with someone, you become as one flesh. So a lot of people are just out here doing what they doing. They picking up everybody else's feelings, emotions, their hang-ups, because they're not at one flesh with the person that they're supposed to be married to and supposed to be with. That's why a lot of relationships don't work out today, because people move too fast. It's not blessed. So my message just to people today is to keep yourself. Keep yourself together, because you not only need to be with someone that is equally yoked with you with God, but you have to be equally yoked in other areas as well. And all of that is very, very important. So just keep yourself. That's my message for today.
That is good. I'm right where you're at. I'm the same way. A little backstory, I guess I can say, Big Ben. I tell on my show all the time that, you know, before I came to Christ, even though I've grown up in the church, I was raised at the church, you know, from 1 week old, I've been in the church. But when I actually had my own physical interaction with him, I was sitting on the bed and I was with a man, I'm not supposed to be with. Thank God I'm still a virgin and everything, but I was with a man I wasn't supposed to be with, and I looked at him and I was like, he said something crazy. I was like, no, he did not, God. I looked at him and then I looked at myself in the mirror and I'm like, it's either me or him. And I was eating chicken. I say this all the time. I was eating chicken and I was like, God, it's either me or him. Like, I will take him out. Like, he got one more time to say something crazy. I will take him out. And people laugh and I'd be like, I was dead. I was like, it's either me or him, like, for real. So then when God, I called my mom up and she's like, sometimes people are brought into your life just to distract you from the path God has you on. Yep. Whether it be in relationships, whether it be just friendships, whether it be your family out here being crazy too. So I love that you said soul ties is key. And you don't even have to have intercourse to have a soul tie. I never touched this man before in my life, but I was so tied to him. But I was like, nah, not today, honey. You gotta go. You gotta go.
Yep.
Big Ben.
I really understand. For me, I only been in one relationship, and that was in high school. And it my only thing, huh?
That's not
it was that was the only relationship I've been in since I've been out of high school. Mm-hmm. It's more like I dealt with a lot of rejection from female, a lot. So yeah, to sum that up, I guess I can tell my testimony now. I guess I can go ahead and do mine right now.
We're about to do a commercial break.
Oh, okay.
Thank you so much, B. Sherese, for giving your message. I cannot wait to ask you this big question that I'm going to ask all the ladies. So be prepared. Your girl's always, brain always moving. So be prepared.
So I get to say my testimony after?
Anyway, so without further ado, we're going to have Jonah's run. What's the song called, Big Ben? Let's run it.
Yeah, this.
The song says that wise men still they still look for it. They still seek him out. Yeah. So God, won't you tell him? So today I read a post about how someone really had the doubt. They say that you're not really history, so how can you be real to me? Then I read a blog say that believing you is so archaic, they say. Believing that you're heaven sent. It's also no intelligence, but I still believe. But I still believe. And I'll tell the world that wise men still follow you, still seek your truth. Every day's beauty and night yearn more of you. Wise men still follow you, still seek your truth. Every day's a new day and I yearn more of you. Wise men still follow you, still seek your truth. Every day's a new day and I yearn more of you. Show on my TV. How many reasons? 5 reasons not to believe. Oh my. And when we get to number 3, it seems they're looking right at me. I was sitting in a small cafe. I overheard somebody say, why pray to someone I can't see? And expecting him to answer me, but I still believe. After all that you've been through, I still believe. No, change. And I want the whole world to know. Shawty said, wise men still follow you. Still seek your truth. Every day's a new day, and I yearn more than wise men still seek your truth. Every day's a new day. Yearn more of you. Wise men still follow you. Still seek your truth. Oh my. Every day's a new day. Yearn more of you. He's the King of glory. Yes, he is. He's the Lord. Proclaim your mind, ambition, King of glory, Lord of light. We declare you're holy. We proclaim your mind. Anybody believe it? King of glory. Anybody receive it tonight? Lord of light. We declare you're holy. We declare you're holy. Lord, we proclaim your mind. We proclaim your mind. Declare you're holy, and we proclaim your mind. One more time, King of glory, King of glory, Lord of light. We declare you're holy, and we proclaim your mind. And wise men still follow you, still seek your truth. Every day's a new day, and I yearn more of you.
Where your number one hit internet station, playing nothing but the gospel. Bringing you the good news 24/7. Keep it locked.
Are you ready to join a great movement? Well, we're here to announce TCB Entertainment. Through the gifts of help, we are here to aid in entertainment industry. We are a faith-based organization, and our goal is to help spread and empower kingdom-driven people, ministries, to spread the good news across the world. We have award-winning radio personalities from across the world, award-winning radio shows from across the world, award-winning artists from across the world. So what are you waiting for? If you're looking to and wanting to be a part of the entertainment industry, and you need someone that is kingdom-driven, kingdom-minded, you can definitely join us. You can email us at tcbshows2019@gmail.com or tcbentertainmentnetwork@gmail.com. God bless.
Kingdom building on a whole nother level.
And we are back. Okay, big. You can do your little spill or whatever.
Yeah, it's gonna be brief. I'm gonna do a brief one. I ain't gonna be here all day. We got amazing other people about to tell a testimony. So I'm gonna do a brief one. So yeah, like I was saying before, I got rudely cut off by my sister. I dealt with a lot of rejection. I'm still a virgin, 21 years old. I'm staying a virgin until I get married because I don't play that. Not only that, my parents taught me to wait till I'm married. That's one thing. So, but yeah. So I was dealing with a lot of rejection, and I was dealing with some stuff, and I dealt with perversion really bad. I was in a very dark place. It was very, very dark, and I can tell a little testimony about when God helped me, because I could have died twice actually. One time I was I don't know what happened. I fell somewhere down the stairs and busted my legs and everything, was all scuffed up, broke the door and everything, and it was just, that was a long. So I went to the doctors. I was 8, I think I was 19 around that time, and the doctor said that I have arthritis in both of my legs and all that. And then basically I was doing my mess around that time. I was doing whatever and God kept on giving me second chances and everything. And finally he got enough, and he just got enough. That's why I guess that's one of the reasons why it happened, why I busted my legs and I got arthritis and all that. But it was, God was giving me second chances after second chances until I felt like I said, I don't got enough. It was all these spirits walking around, and then seeing stuff in my closet. I was like, I can't deal with this no more. I was like, I can't deal with these stuff. It was all in my mind. I was dealing with stuff in my mind. Like, it was just a lot going on. But yeah, that's a brief testimony about me. I am glad that God healed me and delivered me, because I was in a very, very, very dark place. I was dealing with depression. I picked up weight dramatically. Yeah, I ain't trying to cry because it was a very dark place. I don't cry. I'm OG. I don't cry. Well, yeah, basically that's to sum it up. That's pretty much all I got to say. But one thing I would tell y'all, God is the healer. God is the deliverer. And he delivered me from a lot. He kept me, because he could have killed me a couple of times. And plus another time, it was stuff going on with my heart. And he could have killed me then, but he didn't do it. So, but yeah, I'm done. I know I'm all over the place with it. It's not like
it's okay
in order, but I just did it quick. But yeah.
Praise God. Whew. Praise God. Thank you for your testimony, Deacon Ben.
Look, I not play with you.
No, I'm kidding. But yeah, that's good. I'm glad that God has kept you, and like everybody that's on this panel, we're all called. Who I can reach, someone on here may not reach, and who they can reach, I can't reach. So I'm glad that God, adopted us in the body of Christ and was like, here, you're going to go through the nations and you're going to, spread the good news. God is just so good to his people. And it's crazy how we all have different, stories. We all have different scenarios that we've been through, but God has still kept us, and God is still keeping us to this day. We're doing business. We're doing ministry while being single and waiting for the one, or, preparing to be with the one. So without further ado, we're going to have Miss Sister Izzy Thomas, the wonderful, sensational. I think that's just my word, sensational. Sensational Izzy Thomas. So let me mute myself.
Greetings, Sister Rica, Brother Big Ben, everybody on the panel, everybody under the sound of my voice. I greet you in the mighty name of Jesus. Well, my story is a tad bit similar to my sister, the B. Sherese. I had my first child at 23 as well. And, I grew up a tomboy. I'm the only girl of 6 children, so I grew up kind of tough and rough. Nobody ever thought that Sister Izzy would have a child. They were like, because I used to beat the boys up. I never dated guys. I never dated through high school, none of that stuff. I'm telling you, I was rough, tough. So I never started dating actually till high school. I never even wore a skirt in high school. I wore sweatpants and jeans. That was it. I was that tomboyish and only wore dresses to church. So in my yearbook, if you look at my yearbook right now, it has my real name is Isadora. So it had Imagine Isadora wearing a dress. That's what they had in the Imagine section. So when people start seeing me wearing dresses around, they're like, no, not this tough girl, not Sister Izzy wearing a dress. No, but yeah, so, I never really dated much. I was a house rat. Although I was tomboyish, I was a house rat. Till this day, I'm still a house rat. People wonder how you have 2 kids and you're such a house rat. Hey, life. But I had my first child out of wedlock. Never, till this day, I'm 45 years old, never been married. So long story short, I don't think there's anybody on this earth that I know of that has been in as many auto accidents that I have been in. I kind of lost track after 6. I mean, the devil tried to take me out on multiple occasions, but he see that he failed every single time. But the last accident, well, not the last, I should say the next to the last accident that I was in is the one that really took me out. I was literally out for 2 years. You know, I was bedridden, had to use a walker, had to use like a cane. I was wheelchair in the beginning. So at the time of that accident, which was back in March of 2013, I was rear-ended going to work, driving literally 55 miles an hour. It wasn't a stop and go traffic. I was literally driving and I was hit. I was hit so hard that they thought I was hit by a semi-truck. That's how powerful the impact was. And when the paramedics came, they're looking for a semi-truck because that's how bad it was. And there was no semi-truck. When they realized it was just a Nissan that hit me. And the Nissan that hit me was a text and driver person, which is why it's very important not to text and drive. It's almost as lethal as drinking and driving when you're not paying attention on the road, because I could have lost my life then and there, but God saw otherwise. So at this time of this accident, I had no feeling from waist down. So in my head, I'm saying, oh, Lord, here I am at 39 years old. I'm going to be paralyzed. What am I going to do? I have a son to take care of. I got disabled parents at home. What am I going to do? Like, my income is like the only income that's coming in the house to help my parents and stuff. So I'm like, oh, Lord, what am I going to do? I'm not going to walk again. They're poking me and poking me and poking me. No feeling whatsoever. They say, stand up. I'm trying to stand up. There's no feeling. I can't stand up. I'm just flopping back like this. So the paramedics, they just picked me up, put me in the ambulance, took me to the hospital. Hospital ran tests and everything. Oh, you're fine, Miss Thomas. We don't see anything wrong. I'm like, no, ma'am. No, ma'am. You need to run this test again because I can't feel anything from waist down. So you can't tell me that there's nothing wrong with me. So they're trying to give me like little weak medicine, tell me to go home and see if the pain occurs. 2 years later, still in pain. But to God be the glory, I can walk. I mean, I had to use a cane for like 2 years. And till this day now, we're what? Almost 8 years in, almost 8 years in, I still have a little back pain here and there, but I thank God that I'm able to walk around right now because like I said, it could have been worse. I could have been amputated somewhere. And during that accident, I ended up injuring my neck pretty bad too, which ended up giving me something called fibromyalgia. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with fibromyalgia, but it's it's almost similar to arthritis. You know, Big Ben, I heard you mention you have arthritis. It's something like arthritis, but it's terrible. Like, people say I'm a psychic because I can literally tell you when it's going to rain because my fibromyalgia flares up during that time. And oftentimes when I'm laying down in bed, it takes me forever to get up out of bed. Literally at least 5 minutes I have to sit there because my legs are totally numb. Both legs are numb. Till this day right now, my legs are numb when I get out of the bed. So I have to sit on the edge of the bed, shake my legs, patting my legs, trying to wake it up. And then when it finally wakes up, I stand up, I lose balance. I'm still flopping back. So I'm sitting here like, devil, you're a liar. I just like hold on to my little side dresser there. I'm just shaking my legs and I just stand there for like 2 minutes until it wakes up. And I'm on my way. And this is like an everyday routine because this is why I tell people it is so important not to judge people. You see people's glory, but you don't know their story. You don't know what they've been through. I look perfectly normal from the outside, but people don't know what it is I'm going through on the inside. Like me sitting here right now with you, I just had a live performance last night. And I'm telling you, my body is it's done right now. But I said, I'm pressing my way because I say, Satan, you're not going to win today. I'm going to do this interview today. In spite of some minor glitches, I'm here. I may have a little back pain, but that's not going to stop Sister Izzy because I'm going to do what I have to do for the glory of God. So I am here to give my testimony. And yes, also like this singleness thing, you know, again, I'm going to get back to I have another child. She will be 6 in March. Here I am again, another child out of wedlock. I'm like, what is this, Lord? Is this like a chain for me? Is this something that I'm going to be doing repetitively? No, I don't know. I rebuke that in the mighty name of Jesus. I'm not trying to have any more kids like out of wedlock. So my thing, I just tell myself, you know, I used to question God. I know I should never question God, but I'm like, why every time I'm like, I'm having kids, no husband, 45 years old, never been married. So after I had my daughter in 2015, you know, I immediately like repented after that because I'm like, no, this can't keep going like this. I had to repent. You know, I told her father, you know, if we're not getting married, this not gonna happen. I have to do things the right way now. You know, I see my daughter as a blessing. I would never call her a mistake. She's just a blessing from God. He wasn't ready to get married, so hey, I'm sorry, this not gonna work. We have to break it up, and I will take care of my child if I have to do it on my own. But thank God, I mean, I've been taking care of my own, but he does his part. So I'm not gonna say that he's a deadbeat. He's not a deadbeat. He does his part. But my son, who's now 20, going on 22, I pretty much raised him myself. You know, that's like a whole long story. It'll take me all day to even get into that story. So I'm just gonna leave it at that. I raised him on my own, a woman raising a child, a boy child at that. So people say that women can't raise a son to be a man, but you can't give them like 100% of what it is that a man can do to a son, but you can do enough to where you raise them to know their right from their wrong. Because anybody that knows my son would be like, whoa, you raised him, and he's just so respectable. My son has never been in any trouble in school, never been in trouble with the law, none of that stuff. Very good child. So after, you know, my daughter, you know, I can't say there wasn't bumps along the way. There was bumps along the way, but hey, we're human. So you just have to pick yourself up, get back on track, and you have to talk to the Lord daily. So I speak to the Lord daily. And, you know, I haven't been in any relationship since I had my daughter. And she was born in 2015. So, you know, like I say, I'm still single. I don't want to say I'm desperate. I'm not going to say that I'm like out there hunting to try to find nobody, because it's he that finds a wife finds a good thing. So I have people that are coming at me left and right. But like I tell them, you have to come correct. You must be a man of God. You must be in church. You must not be serving two masters. And me, I mean, I know there are people that might have been in relationships where they had to go and get a divorce. But as for me, I don't believe in divorce. That's just me. I believe in like one marriage until death do us part. I'm taking that from my parents, who would have been married 43 years before my dad passed away in 2016. So that's the type of marriage I want. I want till the end. We're not going to sit here and say we're going to get divorced and I have to go find a second husband. No, ma'am, no, sir. I'm not with that. But my problem for me, I don't know about anyone else, but for me, I've been having like a lot of married men that have been hitting on me versus single men. Like, where are all the single men? Why are all the married men like hitting on me? I'm not looking for no married man. I don't have desperate across my forehead. I don't have married man only. So you need to poof be gone, because Sister Izzy will tell you off in the godly way. So don't test me. Don't try me. I do not want nobody's equipment. So stay where you at and keep your home happy. If you're not happy at home, make it work. Talk to the Lord. Sister Izzy does not want no married man. I'm looking for a single man, never been married. If you widow, fine. But like I say, that's just my preference. I'm not bashing anybody that's been married, but this is Sister Izzy preference. And that's probably why I'm still single today, because I guess everybody's married. And where are all the men in church? I'm sorry for blabbing, but where are all the men in church? There are hardly any men in church. There are so many females. Like, where are you? Where are they hiding it? Or is it that you're not ready to be committed? Is that why you're not in church? You're still ready to go out there and do your thing? No, you need to get in the church and settle down and be ready to be committed, because the church is full of women. So you can't have no excuse saying you can't find a woman and all these women are in churches everywhere. No, it's like a 90% women thing inside of the church. Where are the men at? And the men that are in church are all elderly people. What am I going to do with a 70, 80, 90-year-old? God forbid. But no, I need somebody in my age range. Everybody there is like an elder, you know, 90, 80 years old. No, grandpa. Sorry. No, I don't need a sugar daddy. So, but I'm not going to keep blabbing, because I know there's other people on here, because I'll go all day talking. So thank you.
Oh, dead. You.
She hit everything.
Right.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. That is so hilarious.
You are so on point.
I love the transparency. Oh my goodness. You hit so many points.
Wow.
Girl. I was like, who's gonna start with me today? Like, I want to start something. And Sister Izzy, you started it for me today. So we're going to talk about that later.
Hey, we got to tell the truth. We got to keep it real around here, Sister Rica. We have to keep it 100. Right. No sugarcoating around here. Sister Izzy believes in keeping it 100. And we have to tell the facts. You know, we don't want to sugarcoat nothing around here. So we're going to keep it real in here today with Sister Izzy in here, you know.
Yes, she did say elderly. She said she don't want no granddaddy. None of that. She said
No
none of
sugar
that.
daddy.
Look, and
Right.
that's all right. None of
She
that.
said elder.
Right. That, but she is not lying. Like, it'd be the married men that be
In your
interested in the
inbox.
single woman. I'm like,
In
That's
your
true.
inbox
I'm
on a regular
confused.
basis.
And I say they're
Yeah.
they're lucky that I'm like this strong Christian woman, because let me tell you, if I was like the bad-minded person, man, you know how the divorce rate would be right now if I was that type of female, but I'm not. I'll just let God handle it, his thing.
I'm so dead. I
But
can't.
it's the same way. It's the same way with guys. Just married female that be hitting up the single guys.
Really?
Yes.
I find that hard to believe.
Yeah,
It
because
is.
Women
don't
do it
know.
too, though. Women do it too.
that's what they say.
Women,
They say a lot of women
it's
do
getting
it.
worse. It's getting worse. It's probably more common in men, but I've actually heard men tell me that women do it now. It's getting like, I don't know, women getting aggressive, or maybe they're more desperate. I don't know.
They getting out of control.
Come
Said more
on.
desperate.
Let's
I'm
get
dead.
Definitely
it.
out of control. Out of
Let's get it
control.
together. Whew, that was good. I loved everything she said. I can't even say nothing. Honestly, she hit every point. So next we're gonna have
Great.
another picture girl, honey. We're having both of them today. Period. And we're gonna have none other than Miss Alma Fisher on today. Period.
All
Hello,
right.
everyone. To God be all the glory. I'm glad to be here, grateful to be here. I too was born and raised, well, I was raised in the church and was filled with the Holy Ghost, baptized water and the Spirit at the age of 8 years old. The foundation, I should have built more. I should have been around more like-minded people and things of that sort. So I fell prey. When I got a little older, I fell prey into the trap, and I went astray. Went through a lot of stuff that I didn't have to go through, but God reeled me back. But I want to talk about, so basically it's about abstaining as well. But I want to talk about how to be kept, how to do it, the action, because it's real. God is able, but we have to know, we need to know how to. That way we can execute it. If you don't know, for lack of knowledge, my people perish. We don't know, we can't do. So I want to talk about that. And for me personally, it takes fasting, it takes praying, takes great leadership, because if you don't have somebody who can guide you, then you'll find yourself, trying to get things together your own way. And you need somebody, you need a shepherd that is led by God to talk to you sometimes, whether it's through the preached word or whether you have to sometimes reach out to that person. And mentors is good as well. So fasting and praying is what really, really, really is going to help with deliverance. Because like she was saying, Sherese actually mentioned, you experience those things. So it's stuff that happens afterwards. So when you taste something that you have no business tasting, you have remnants and you have stuff left over. So God has to heal you and God has to deliver you. And so fasting and praying helps with that. And it is real. God is able. It's not, okay, you can't be kept. No, God is able to keep you. You want to be kept, even people that aren't saved, people that don't know God, don't know anything about God, their knowledge is limited. They can still maintain being, they can abstain when they want to, but it's a mind thing. But you need God, you need the Holy Ghost to keep you all together, because even if you can abstain from sex, they're more than likely they're struggling in some other area. They're not living right in some other area. So I want to definitely put that out there, and attending church regularly and watching what we're taking in. It's really important to watch what you're taking in, your company, what you're watching on TV. I am a grown woman, but when a sexual scene comes up, I am fast forwarding. Do you hear me? I'm not playing, because I have to be careful what I'm taking into my spirit. And when the conversations is going, the words are coming out, and it's something that I know that I don't need to go inside of me, I'm muting. And I don't care. I really do not care, because protecting my spirit is more important than, somebody's opinion, or more important than seeing that, pleasing my flesh, because it feels good to please your flesh. But remember, the pleasures of sin only last for a season. So you'll get that pleasure, but then you have to deal with the aftermath. What fruit is it? You're going to have fruit when you're taking it in. Something's going to come forth. And it's just those are ways to keep you from those things, to keep you from premarital sex. And if you have committed premarital sex, you fell in a trap like myself. If you've done that, God is able to deliver you and keep you once he does deliver you, because I have abstained for several years as well. God is able, but you have to have a mind, to allow God to keep you. And you can't be thirsty. I have to say that, because thirst is, that's a trap. When we are thirsty for a mate, the enemy will open up a door and he'll make it, he'll make you believe that that is something that God has for you. But you have to be careful, and God won't allow you to be fooled. He won't. He will reveal it. He'll open your eyes and he'll allow you to see. And we have to heed. We have to heed signs, because God's going to let us know. But sometimes people ignore the signs, and what happens is you get into stuff that you didn't have to get into. But I'm so grateful that God kept me, and he is a keeper. And I'm really, really grateful. And this day I can say, guess what? I can wait. And so can you.
Come on. That is, honey, we see the red flags, but we ignore them. We just
Right.
like, okay, is that really a red flag? Or
But in this day and age, you gotta ignore it.
Right.
Yes.
You can't. In this day and age, you can't ignore it, because people out here is real crazy.
I'm telling you.
Real crazy.
Right.
It's you see it, run.
Right.
Run like Forrest, because trust me, the internet is no game. The internet is worse than human life. I mean, you would think that they would come at you in human form. Oh no, over this Facebook, and they're real bold. They are real bold. I'm going back to the first thing. Your status said married. Why are you in my inbox? Yes, if you listening to me, your status says married. Why are you in my inbox? It's crazy.
I just started putting people on blast now. I will post the whole thing and say, "Does your wife know about this?" and tag the wife. And I've been doing that for the last few months. I'm tired. Like, why are you married and running around? Like, you can't. Marriage is important. Like, you can't just be doing whatever. I don't know.
Right.
Yeah. And some things are not necessarily visible. The enemy is really good at disguising himself. So that's why you need to have constant communication with God. Because if you're walking before him, he's not going to leave you oblivious and run into a ditch. He's going to show you, like, okay, this person doesn't have your good entrance, your heart. So some things the enemy, he studies us. So he know, okay, I can't just show her this because she's going to run away. So I'm going to package it up real nice. There's going to be some defect in it. It's going to be some decay, some stuff's going to be wrong with it. I'm going to make it look real presentable. So that's why we just have to constantly realize that we are spiritual first. And we need to keep our eyes on God, because the enemy is not going to always present himself as darkness. He's going to present himself as angel of light. So we have to be sober.
Right.
Amen. I completely agree. We have one other speaker. Then we're going to do a whole panel. I have questions. I have questions for all the ladies, all the men, even Big Ben too. I have questions. So I do not want to pronounce your name wrong. But we have none other than radio sensation. I know she in radio because I've seen her beautiful face before, period. She's also an artist. She also has a book out. Come on, let's clap for the authors. It's hard to get books out here. Mr. Sullivan Gill. Hopefully she correct me if I said it wrong. Let's unmute.
Unmute yourself.
Yeah, I think you have to unmute.
Wait a minute. I did not unmute. Wait a minute. Okay, you guys. What? Wait a minute. Oh, okay. On my side, I'm unmuted.
Yeah.
Is there a code or something I'm supposed to do? What I'm supposed to do?
No, you're good now. We can hear you.
You guys can hear?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, good. I was going to say I could. Okay, good. All right. So, yeah. Hey, you guys. You guys have been wonderful. Woohoo! You know what? Before I say anything, I want to say this. Behind the brokenness, before I say anything, everything is always spiritual, your soul, and your body. For all of us. When you think about all this here, I want to say my testimony is my mother and father, they were married 9 years. They divorced. And, it's important for a father to be present for a daughter and son, but really for a daughter as well, because daughters, we go looking for love in all the wrong places. I just heard it a lot here. A lot of times we also go and find the same man that our fathers are. And I did that. And guess what? I was married for 9 years. Just got a divorce 2019. I didn't want it to happen. It's like a cycle, and I wanted to stop because I have a 15-year-old. He'll be 16 years old. And I don't want him to have to go through a divorce, because a divorce is very dark. It is very depressed. I went through a depression during the divorce. But I know that God brought me out of it, and there was a lot of hollering and screaming and fussing, and now we're at a good place. Unbelievable. Only God did that. Even asked me to go for Valentine's Day out on a date. So it's like, okay, but anyway, scratch that. I want to get to the meat of it. It's that sometimes you see your life as you want to be married, you want to be in love, and you just want everything to work out, and sometimes it just don't. And that's fine, And I heard someone here say that, they don't believe in divorces, but I didn't believe in the divorce either. But I do have to go on with my life. I cannot be in a relationship if they're not trying to work with me. It is not going to work. You got to go on. You got to go. You got to go and you got to grow, And, if you guys are not on that same, on the spiritual, this person is here and this person is there, it's not going to work. You're not equally yoked. He believed in God, but he don't want to go to church. He don't want to pray together. If you're not praying together, it's not going to work. I don't care what you do. You can go pray all you want. I prayed. I went to church every Sunday. I prayed by myself that it will work, and it didn't. I had to let go, And sometimes we don't want to let go, and we don't understand. And I kept asking God why, and he kept telling me, don't lean to your own understanding. Do what I say. You have to do this for your own good. And now I stand in front of you and I'm able to say, you know what? Hey, God brought me out of that, and I'm delivered from that. And I could tell anybody, hey, when you're going through all of that, depend on God, because everybody has their own situations. People will help you for a little bit, but they got to do their own lives. But stand with God. He's going to help you. He will help deliver you and move you out of that, out of that depression, out of that darkness, and he has so many things for you. And a lot of times we don't even know our self-worth. We don't know, the things, the promises that he has given us. We're so distracted by what's going on in our lives. We can't even, concentrate, on what is it that God has for me and what I'm supposed to be doing. What is my purpose in my life? We only got one life, and we don't have time. Time is so valuable. And once it's gone, it is gone. So just do what God has given you all. Beautiful faces. We all have to just do what he has given us. We speak in our truth here. And the thing is, we just have to have more love for yourself. And when you have love for yourself and respect for yourself, you're not going to let nobody disrespect you or treat you wrong. You know what I mean? Women we love so many people. We love everybody. We give everybody everything, but sometimes we don't love ourselves. And it's very important that you love you first, that you can love everybody else, and help everybody else. But it begins with you, and it's not selfish. No, it's not selfish. That we need to do that. And again, the scripture, lean not unto your own understanding, and everything acknowledge him, and he shall direct your path. That is like that's my go-to, like, Lord, please direct me. What am I supposed to be doing? What is it that you have for me to do? Then I'm going to do it. I want to be a servant to you. And after that, it's just like everything is just poured out. Singing songs to his glory, writing books to his glory. Everything is to his glory. And not to say I won't never get married again. Not to say I won't date again, because I'm open and I find that I'm more confident. I got my confidence back. It's like, say, Stella got her groove back, and I feel good about myself, and I'm loving myself, and I'm seeing the difference. Been asked to go on dates, but this is COVID. And I do agree with you, the lady, Izzy, you're absolutely right. As it relates to married men, crawling in your inbox, they are the worst. But I believe it's just an ego thing. They want to still see if they got it, they want to be the Mac. Mess, get that mess on up out of here. But I do understand where you're coming from. I do understand as it relates to the church, where all the men at. There's no men in church. There's all women. It's just, to be honest, you ladies, I got to give it to you. It's a shortage of men. And I don't want to sound negative. No. Most of the men, and it all depends on what age bracket you're in. Like, for, let's just say 38, 45, 50, most of those guys are established. They're already married. They already have families. They're just looking to play with somebody. So be aware of that. You understand? Be aware, don't be nobody's fool. And men too, vice versa, but mostly it's to women. There's so many of us. It's a lot of us to one man. And I see it all the time. There's married men, they want their cake and eat it too. They have a girlfriend, a chick on the side, and another chick on the side, and I don't know where this has come from. I guess it's been going on. Ain't nothing new under the sun, but it seems like it's more, but I just want to say we just got to continue to pray and ask God to send us who he has for us. And just stay positive and, again, know who you are and whom you belong to. And he hasn't brought us this far to keep us single. He gives us the desires of our hearts. And we have to remember to guard our heart and our minds and look to him to guide us and to, give us, what our heart desires. I know there's some more stuff, but I don't want to take up too much time because I can go on and on about this here. But again, it may be broken, but it was necessary. We may be broken, but it's necessary. The things that we had to endure to get to this place that we are now in our lives. Had we not, we wouldn't be the people that we are today. There you go.
I'm sorry, I keep talking. I think my mic is off. Amen. That was good. It's like I said, it's crazy how we all been through something different, but yet we're sitting here single and some of us are waiting for the one. Some of us, done with the fool. I mean, all of us should be done with the foolery.
Yeah.
I'm done with the foolery.
But it's just crazy where God has. It's crazy that different ages, different races, different cultures, different countries, and we're all, not similar in a lot of things, but we're similar in that we love God, we're doing ministry, and we're single, and we're not hiding it, we're not ashamed of it.
No.
So you got anything to say?
I know for me, there's some times when I be like, why I'm still single? Like I be like, I'm seeing all my friends getting married, all friends I went to high school with, they get married, having kids and everything. I'm not ugly or something. I'm still here. Why I'm not married? I'm saying,
young. You so young. You got a long way to go. You got a
long way to
go.
I know. It's just it's the thing of being in a
No, you know what? He's preparing you, and he's preparing your bride. And not only thing, you got a calling on your life, honey. You got things to do right now. God is preparing you with what you're doing and your radio and everything that you're doing. You do that, and he's gonna send you your woman. Your wife, excuse me.
Yes.
Your wife. You don't have to worry about nothing, darling. He got you, okay? And I didn't mean to say darling. He got you, okay? He got you. Listen to me. All right.
And one of the pastors I know told me, she said, enjoy your singleness. I never really understood what she was saying until she started talking to me about things, talking to me about being married and stuff that she was dealing with or going through. And she said, you don't have to worry about anybody but you. She said, enjoy your time with you. Enjoy your time with God. Enjoy your time to figure out who you are. So I used to be upset and see I got friends that's married and they've been married for like 10 and 12 years now and 19 years. And I'm like, Lord, what's up?
Right.
But when she taught me, I had to learn. And when she taught me, she said, enjoy learning yourself. And when I started enjoying myself and loving myself, now it's not a immediate thing that I'm trying to run down to the altar. Yeah. So just enjoy it. Enjoy not having to share your Oreos.
Right. So we're going to be back right after these short messages. We're going to have one more video. I know Big Ben doesn't know the name of the video, so
actually I do. I actually do.
Okay.
I'm up to part today. I think it's called Prodigal Son by Jonas Run.
Prodigal Me. It's okay.
Oh man, okay, I was close.
Was rocked by this scandal. They said they would handle the matter internally. Well, it seems they've made their decision.
Pastor fired. Elders call his behavior harmful to the best interests of the church. CBS News' Mike Puccinelli joins us live now from Rolling Meadows with more.
Fined at the church of a Boston pastor.
A Baptist pastor in the state of Texas.
Pastor accused of...
Pastor of a local church.
I see so many scandals emerging, right?
Yeah, too hard to impress. He was trying too hard to impress. And when you find people who are trying too hard to impress, they're often hiding something.
Where are you? You know what? Don't even answer that. You've told enough lies. Our names are being dragged through the mud. And you want to know something else? Our son got suspended today because the kids at his school was calling his daddy a pimp preacher. Yeah. We didn't ask for any of this. You broke your promise. We had nothing. And when we had nothing, at least we had trust. But now we have all these cars. We have this mansion. We have more money than we can ever spend. But we don't have trust anymore. I don't have my husband anymore. My husband, the great preacher. I just wish you were a better man. I'm leaving you, Zach. Don't even think about coming home.
He knows your will before you fall. One thing I've learned from my mistakes, I have no room to judge at all. He knows this life can shake your faith and have you questioning your call. But he is nearest when hearts break, his hands to catch you when you fall. By his grace, I'm standing here today. I'll only look down on you to lift you up and say, prodigal me, prodigal you, can always come back home. Justifies the ones he calls. And by his grace, I'm standing here today. I'll only look down on you to lift you up and say, by his grace, I'm standing here today. I'll only look down on you to lift you up and say, prodigal me, prodigal you, can always come back home, home. Prodigal me, prodigal you, can always come back home, home.
Where your number one internet station, playing nothing but the gospel. Bringing you the good news 24/7. Keep it locked.
Are you ready to join a great movement? Well, we're here to announce TCB Entertainment. Through the gifts of help, we are here to aid in entertainment industry. We are a faith-based organization, and our goal is to help spread and empower kingdom-driven people, ministries, to spread the good news across the world. We have award-winning radio personalities from across the world, award-winning radio shows from across the world, award-winning artists from across the world. So what are you waiting for? If you're looking to and wanting to be a part of the entertainment industry and you need someone that is kingdom-driven, kingdom-minded, you can definitely join us. You can email us at tcbshows2019@gmail.com or tcbentertainmentnetwork@gmail.com. God bless.
Kingdom building on a whole nother level.
I was like, so I thought I heard it again. So we are back. Look, I'm trying to act like I'm on TV.
Yes. And we are back.
Before we get into the questions, I actually wrote down some notes. Just how to stay encouraged as, singles, and, if you're feeling lonely, if you're, crying a lot, feeling like no one wants you and stuff like that. So I have some notes right here. Also,
hold up, before you start, I'm gonna introduce you in.
No,
introduce everybody. You don't want to
play. Don't be out here playing.
Okay, this is Reverend Rica Nadine. She's a reverend now. She's reverend now. So Reverend Rica Nadine, she's a TV host, radio personality. She author. She got so many stuff that she does. But yeah, I told her I was going to introduce her in. So here you go.
I didn't even want to do all that, but I was trying to keep it low key because you put your gift out here. That's when people really be like, "Oh,
yeah.
So you did." I don't need none of that. So first, I wanted to mention some people, because we are Christians. I wanted to relate this to the Bible. Like, who are some people that were in the Bible who did ministry and who remained single? So I have a list right here. We have Paul. We have Anna. We have Martha, we have Jeremiah, we have Ruth, even though she found her Boaz, she was single. Right, and then he died. That's a whole nother conference.
Yeah.
We have Joseph and Nehemiah and John the Baptist. There's so many people in the Bible, who did ministry, remain single and remain doing his word. Paul, I mentioned Paul. I was like, Paul. But here's some scriptures to help encourage whoever is single out there and, watching us, and like you're seeing all these different testimonies and you're like, yeah, it's helping me. But, what can I, when I'm alone, when I'm by myself, who can I turn to? You can turn to God for one. But you can also turn to your Bible. You better read that Bible. So first, if you're feeling lonely, you can turn to Psalms 68:6. And if you're feeling if you're not feeling pretty and feeling like nobody wants you, you can turn to Songs of Songs 1:15, written by the man that knows every part of a woman ever. 700 wives later, King Sullivan. If you're feeling like you're just getting out of bad relationship and your heart's broken, you're trying to work through it, you can turn to Psalms 147:3. If you're disappointed, you're like, God, I know I'm waiting, but waiting, this ain't fair. Like my friends, like Big Ben was saying, my friends are doing this, my friends are doing that. You're just feeling a little disappointed. You can turn to Psalms 42:11. If you feel rejection, like Big Ben said on today, you can turn to 1 Peter 2:4. If you are envy and you're, like I said, you're seeing other relationships, relationship goals, all these goals, we got goals for everything out here. So
Right.
You can turn to Galatians 6:4. If you lack understanding, like I said, and you're like, God, why am I in this position? Why am out of my group of friends? Why am I the single one? honey, because he has somebody in store for you. But you can turn to Proverbs 12 and 18. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm super excited. Like the questions I have for y'all, they're about to blow y'all mind. I'm about to pick some brains. So, like I asked Mr. Josh earlier, do you, the ladies on the panel, do you see yourself as a Proverbs 31 woman? Like, do you, in this season or the seasons to come, are you preparing to be a Proverbs 31 woman, or are you one right now? So you can unmute yourself.
I'm gonna mute myself.
You need to mute yourself. I mean, anybody can. I guess I'll start, y'all.
Well, I see myself as more than well prepared. I think I am more than well prepared. Yes, I'm going to say that because I'm speaking into existence that my Ephesians 5. I used to say Boaz, but when I look back, Boaz is so old, so that's probably why like all the old crowds are like coming at me. So I had to change that around and say, yeah. So yeah, I had to rechange that because I mean, you get what you ask for, right? So I had to change that. So I really feel like I am, and I feel like I'm at that place that I can be ready. And that's why I keep myself so busy because my hands are on everything, not physically. I'm just saying like work life. I'm into everything, like managing. I do everything because that will keep my attention focused on that and not into the world. Mm-hmm. Because at the time when I had my kids, I wasn't focused like that. Truth be told, I was not focused. Mm-hmm. Because like I say, I was one of those late bloomers. I didn't like dating in high school. None of that stuff. Is when I was in high school and when I had my son at the time. Hey, that was experience and things, and look what happened. But I think right now my head is more strong. My focus on God is like heavy right now. I'm so focused on God right now that I say no demon in hell can literally turn me back right now because I backslid already once. I said it's not going to happen again. So when the time comes for me to when that guy finds me, I should say, when the right guy finds me, hey, I'm as ready as I can come. I can cook. Hey, I can throw down. So he's not going to starve because I love to eat. So, I mean, hey, we're going to cook. Hey, we're going to help grow whatever business you're trying to do. If you don't have a business, hey, Sister Izzy going to help you. We're going to do it together because I'm not going to like talk down on anyone because they may be doing a 9 to 5 or they may be working in a. People want to look down on people because they're working in a fast food restaurant. They have a job. So women, stop downgrading these guys. Stop talking down on these men because they're trying. They could be out there selling drugs or robbing people. He may be working at Burger King right now. If you put your head together with his, he can have his own empire and do his own thing. Get his little program station or get his little corporation or something. Help build the man. Don't tear him down because we all fall short. I fell short. Lord knows how many times. But hey, I pick myself up every time. So I am ready. Like I say, I'm ready. Where are you? Hello, Romeo. Sister Izzy is here waiting. Let's not get too desperate. So I'm not desperate, but I'm ready. I'm ready. Yeah. I'm patiently waiting.
Mm-hmm. I love the confidence. You're ready, and it's like, come on, like where you at though? Yeah. Be serious. I guess I can just start calling you out. Are you in this season?
As confident as they get. Look at this. See the bounce. I'm confident. I'm ready. I'm ready.
All right.
I'm so good. Are you a Proverbs 31 woman? Are you preparing to be a Well, I'm gonna be honest. I think all women are Proverbs 31 women. It's just in our nature. But are you preparing, or are you already there?
Well, I didn't know at one point that you had to prepare, but I know. Well, I learned this over the last 2-3 years, sitting with my bishop's wife, and the talks that me and her have, and you do have to prepare. She gives a lot of insight on that. Those are me and her quiet conversations, so I can't give you all of that. But but it's something that you have to prepare for, you mentally, spiritually, mainly spiritually, because she's married to a bishop. So so as of right now, yes, I think she is adequately preparing me for what God has in store. I'm not in any rush though. I used to be in a rush. Now I am tired of being single, and I want him to come, but I don't want no foolishness. So that's
Come
why I'm
on.
not in any rush. Um, I I'd rather I'm learning to do things in God's time, and God's time is better.
Right.
His time is always the best time, and you find yourself in no bad situations when God is operating. So I believe I'm prepared and I'm ready, just not in a rush.
Okay, Miss Shunice, since you're already unmuted, are you ready? Are you a Proverbs 31 woman?
I am ready. But at first I need to say this. Yeah, I'm ready. I had to work on me. I had to give myself time and work on me. It's like, we want, the godly man, the real one, the real, but we have to make sure that we're real ready. So I'm ready. And, whatever God brings, hey, that's what I want. That's who I need. And I just wait on him because, again, we can go out here and think we can get the right person, and it will cause us like another 10 years back if it's not right. We have to go through all that unnecessary stress. So I'm waiting and I'm open. I'm open. Yes. I'm ready.
Miss Alma, are you ready or are you preparing yourself?
I would say God is preparing me. But I'm definitely not pressed. I'm not pressed. I see what anxiety gets us, and I'm Lord, I'm waiting, So that's where I'm at.
Miss Raquel, last but not least, Miss Raquel, are you ready? Are you, preparing yourself?
I believe that I would like to grow more. I'm developing in terms of learning me more and also letting go of things that have hurt me in the past so I won't take it out on whoever God brings my way. And also I want to touch on Miss Thomas when you were saying help build a man. So in a way, I agree, but then I don't. And this is why I'm saying this. It's our job to prepare before we receive our husband, correct? And vice versa. And if he's a man of God, God gave us commandments because of Eve and Adam. So he needs to be able to prepare to be able to take care of me initially and not building you, because that's already a relationship. Now, my father and my mother were married. My father was not saved, but my mother was saved. And I learned all this from an ungodly man. My father used to work 3 jobs. My mother didn't have to work. And then once we grew up, then my mother said she wanted to start working. Then my mother worked. And of course, my mother helped out in the house, but my mother didn't have to work. So me now as an adult, I used to work 3 jobs in school. Now I just work 1 job and I'm in college taking 2 degrees at the same time. So whoever comes my way, he has to be quality and be able to uplift me. I cannot build you that low. And I'm not trying to be biased. I know that men require a lot out of women. You require us to have long hair, to be flawless, and then y'all be empty-handed. And I don't think it's right. I think we both need to come to the table bringing something, and what we bring is quality, and then build each other up. I'm not going to be building you from the ground up, and I'm already a certain way. And I'm not being mean, but if I learn this from an ungodly man, I should have way much more from a man that's walking, breathing, living the word of God. I'm not going to take nothing less.
Not supposed to.
Amen. That's good.
Can I reiterate on that, please?
Yes, ma'am.
I wasn't saying in the beginning. What I was saying, I should have said it. I might have said it incorrectly. What I'm saying is, a lot of times there are people that are in relationship with guys, and because that guy may fall on hard times, they may have to go get a 9-to-5. Immediately, the female want to leave that guy because he's not making the $100,000 that he used to make that year prior. But you can't just let him go because he fell on hard times. We're human. Things happen.
That's right.
It could be the economy. I'm not saying when you gonna first meet the guy, you go and meet somebody for Taco Bell. No, I was just saying people fall on hard times. He had money when you met him, so because he fell on hard time, he lost his job. Oh, you got to go. I need money for my hair. I need money for my nails. So we can't be so materialistic.
That's wrong.
Materialistic will get you nowhere. So that's what I was saying. Help build him back up. Not like in the beginning, but he's gonna fall down. When that man falls, you help bring him up. I shouldn't say build him up. Maybe I said it wrong again. Help build him up, not bring him up. Help build him back up to where he was, because not everybody is a college graduate with a college degree. Some people go straight out of college and they get a job. They were lucky to get a job without that degree. So, like, I can speak for myself. I went to college, but I didn't get a degree because the job I was working with doing computers, I say, well, I'm already doing the work. What do I need the degree for? I'm here making what I'm making without the degree. There are people that come in with a degree and have more knowledge than them with a degree. So the degree to me is just a paper. So I was just like saying, help them get back on their feet, not to like build a man, because that's not my job to raise no man. I got a son that he's 22 now. I'm not trying to raise a grown man. I just reworded it wrong. So thank you.
Yeah, no, but I agree with you saying. I'm not knocking people who work for fast food, because I know people work for fast food in school, have their own business and doing that thing. That's awesome. You doing it, and then once you get your degree and get where you want to be at, that's something different. I'm talking about you being way grown and you just comfortable flipping burgers, and you about to be 40, you're not even trying to aspire to be a manager of the restaurant. You just comfortable putting cheese and lettuce, tomatoes, and this is how we gonna rock it. No, that's a whole negative. You know what I'm saying? That's a whole negative. Now, a person who
go that route.
They work fast food, they in school, they got their own business, they got all this and stuff. You doing the thing, you're building. I can't knock you, but you like 40 years old and you are content and you're not growing. That is a whole negative. I cannot participate in those type of activities. That means you don't have any ambition. Yeah, and you're not gonna be no 40 and be content with cheese and lettuce, tomatoes. That's a negative. Sorry.
Yeah.
I concur.
I completely agree. For one, my mama ain't raised no fool, so you're not gonna come here and I have all this going. God is blessed. He has blessed me to say I'm 22. I ain't got no kids, no debt, in school, and doing the Lord. Like I'm blessed. I don't have time for foolishness. But I would have to say, I feel like I am a Proverbs 31. But here's the thing. Here's a twist. And maybe because I'm younger, I think I'm the youngest on here besides Big Ben. I think there's times, this is why I know why he's not here yet, because there's times where I'm like, I don't want to really be bothered with. But then there's times I'm like, yes, God, send him to me. Yes, I'm ready to be a wife. But then there's this time like, no, I need my space. Like, I want to be a selfish
Oreos. It's okay.
Right. So, I mean, but like, I'm young. He'll come.
Yes. Take your time.
Right. So my next question is, how society is, especially during the pandemic, all these pastors are being exposed for infidelity. Infidelity is big right now in society. So where do you guys, well, of course you long for marriage, but what are your beliefs with the word marriage? Because marriage back in the day when I was growing up, like I said, I'm only 22, but when I was growing up, it's completely different than what they consider marriage now. I know people that I used to talk to in high school. They get married just to, get a check or, pay for college. Like the reason for marriage has changed completely. So, I mean, Big Ben and Mr. Josh, you guys can unmute yourself. You can include yourself in this conversation. How do you guys see marriage? Like, marriage is completely different. I mean, any one of you guys can start first.
I'll let you speak. I'll let you start.
It's awkward.
No.
Yes, you can.
Yeah, I think basically a lot of it's lost, not realistically, but in this day and age, everything, a lot of things, they've lost their meaning. It's lost its meaning. It's like a lot of things. Like you've got people like you said, people that get married for different reasons. Like you've got some men maybe as well. Some women, they'll get married to someone who can benefit them financially, all sorts of different reasons. Or if you might have people who are going out looking for people who are in the spotlight trying to make a name for themselves. And it's sad, that's like the kind of world we live in now, where it hasn't lost its meaning, but to a lot of people there's a lot more behind it, where they come in for the wrong reasons.
Amen. I agree. Anyone else?
I think some women get married just for the dress.
Come on.
They see the dress, they see the wedding, they don't think anything beyond the wedding. They don't know who's gonna take the trash out. They don't know who's gonna cook. Are we both cooking? Are we both cleaning? Do you hate laundry? Do I hate laundry? Is our laundry gonna sit there? Like they don't talk these things out. I think a lot of people just get married because, hey, I want to have this big lavish wedding, and they don't talk about the relationship that comes with it. And building a relationship is important and it's hard, and you got to work at it. And if you're not ready to work,
gotta work.
It's more to it than just, I got this big pretty dress and I'm gonna wear it and walk down the aisle and I'm gonna marry the man I love. Yeah, you love him, but my parents were together for 48 years, and my mama told me, God rest her soul, she said it was days she didn't even want to talk to my daddy. So you have to prepare for those kinds of things and know that if you're going through something, is that person gonna pray over you or pray for you or be there for you in your time? A lot of men, and it's not all men, but it's some men out here that don't know how to love and support you or pray over you. They just don't. And it's a sad situation, but it's a lot that don't. So when you do, that's why you have to be careful who you choose and who you pick to be with.
Amen.
I just think people need to focus on more of a relationship than just, I'm getting married and that's it. Or I'm getting married for money, because that's a whole nother problem and situation. But it makes things more complicated than what it needs to be. And I think a lot of people nowadays feel like they don't need people. It's like, oh, we're gonna get married right now, and then, oh, forget you. I can't deal with this. The smallest little thing happened, I'm done. And people run. And they run because they weren't really prepared for it in the first place. So I think that's why marriages are just off the hook nowadays. I've seen people get married and they be divorced in 3 weeks. So yeah.
That's a waste of money.
And time.
I know. I think it's important for people before they decide to get married to have intimacy with God, the male and the female, and especially the male. I mean, both, but the male being the head, he needs to love God more than he loves you. Because if he loves God more than he loves you, he's going to treat you like Christ loved the church. And you don't have, of course, he's not going to be perfect for us. He's not going to get on your nerves and stuff. Y'all can't be like, expecting him to be Jesus, because no one's going to love you like Jesus. But if he loves God and you actually have a real relationship, not just wearing your suit, not just doing your talents and your gifts in church, not just showing up, but actually he can get a prayer through. I'm sorry, I don't want any man to do not know how to pray, don't have a prayer life. Everything is not, financial is definitely important, but if you have financial stability, but you don't have a relationship with God, then okay, I can take care of myself, but I need a man that know how to lead. And only way you're going to properly lead if you allow God to lead you. So I think that's probably, because I can't really speak too much on marriages because I've never been married myself, but that's what I think. A lot of people do not include God in it the way he should be, and that's why it's all haywire. But that's only my perspective from not being married.
Yeah.
Well, my 2 cents on this, I've never been married either, but from what I've been seeing and witnessing is that from females, I should say, because I can't speak like on the male perspective, but like for most females, I've noticed that they tend to get married because they think they can hold on to this man and think this man will not leave them because they marry him. But that's not the case, because if this man doesn't love you as much as you love him, he's still going to leave you for another female. So you having that little ring and your little diamond is not going to keep that man. So that's the main reason that I've been seeing with a lot of people, because, if I get married to him, he's not going to cheat on me. He's not going to do this. No, that's going to even make it worse, because you cannot control that man. A man is going to be a man no matter what. A ring will not stop a man from doing his dirty deeds. So, and then another thing, a lot of people get married because, I got a baby by this guy, we have to get married. No, it don't work that way. I was like almost at that point to it when I had my daughter, but no, I said, well, no, this got to be like, we have to be in this together, like fully in it together. If the love isn't 100%, no need to get married to this person, because it's going to be corruption. You don't need to be a destruction. I'm not saying corruption. It's going to be destruction. You don't need to get into it. So that's the problem. A lot of people are like rushing into it as well too. They have no patience. Patience is a virtue. You have to slow down, like get to know the person, because a lot of people get married in 3 days. I've seen people get married in 3 days. Like, who does that? 3 days? Like, do you know his last name? Like, where do they do that at? Like, no, get to know the person before you jump into a marriage, you know? So that's just my 2 cents on it.
We have time for one more female. I didn't even look at the time, but does anyone else want to go?
I have one thing to add, and I believe it's because, you know, a lot of times we live by examples. Like back in the day, we had the mothers to show us women how to be women, how to be a wife, and you know, back in the day, you know, it was like your parents, you know, help you when you have real problems. We could go, you're supposed to be able to go to your elders. And I think we don't have elders to help us, you know, in the problems, because we got real problems now with our problems. And we think, we're the only ones who had these problems. There's nothing new under the sun. If we can go to the elders and people be real with us and say, hey, you don't want to do that. You don't want to mess up your marriage, because it's not going to last. That's just, you know, the flesh talking to you. If we had real people to, you know, come into our lives and tell us, don't do that, you know, and correct us when we're wrong, just like God correct us when we're wrong. And same with males. Males need to have somebody who they can go to. When you have a pastor, who does the pastor go to? He can't go to his congregation. He's supposed to have somebody to cover him as well. We don't have that covenant, the covenant to help us stay strong and keep that marriage together and bonded together, the family. And it's all separated. And that's how the devil gets in, and you have all these divorces and you know, infidelity, you know, and even women, young women who's not married, you know that you're not supposed to mess with other people's husbands, and you know, you have that your self-worth, and you know, I'm not going to do that. And you have people talking to those young women. The mothers would talk to the young women as well, the single women that was young. You know, you tell them, hey, don't live like that, because it's really abomination. And this is how we all get messed up in the brain, and everything else. And this is why we have all this problem. And this is why the devil is working, and he's being successful.
Yes.
Amen. I completely agree with all of what everyone said, to be honest. Marriage is supposed to be a sacred thing. Marriage is supposed to be it's not gonna be easy. It's not gonna be something you can just jump in one day and feel like you can mentally jump out whenever. But I mean, that's just my cup of tea. So you guys, I want you to make sure you support all these many women and men of God. I know some of them are artists, some of them are authors, radio personalities. We have a mixed blend on here. We have singers, we have management. Shout out. So make sure you guys go and support these men and women of God. Big Ben, you have anything else to say before we close out?
Thank you, Jonas Run and Annette Clark and Smile Productions LLC for y'all wonderful performances. Thank you all for coming.
Yes, thank you for your time. conversation. We can go on and on for days talking about this one particular conversation.
Absolutely.
So we want to thank you for giving your time and your wisdom and your testimony, for being transparent. And let's pray out. We didn't pray in, but we're gonna pray out. So Big Ben, take it away.
Okay.
Come on, baby.
Whoa, Lord. Everybody close your eyes.
Yeah.
Lord, thank you for this wonderful occasion. And thank you so much for this gathering that we were in. And I hope that everything we were doing, we spoke today, ministers to people that need help. And Lord, bless the people as they go and leave the live. Bless them. Yes, bless them in the mighty name of Jesus. We pray. Amen.
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 So until next time, you guys.
All right.
Love you guys, kids.
Love y'all.
Love y'all. Y'all been wonderful. All right.
We're your number one internet